Celtics Today is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is offering cell phone plans starting as low as $15 per month. We'll tell you about them later on in today's show. Celtics fans, we've been patient. We have waited, and the schedule is finally here. The Boston Celtics 2022-2023 schedule has been released in the last hour. We are going to break down the schedule, show you all 82 matchups, and kind of give my thoughts on some more notable games. Should be a fun show. And if you're excited for the season, then subscribe today. We're about to show you the 2022-2023 schedule. It will be the season the Celtics win number 18. I'm fired up about the upcoming Boston Celtics season. If you are too, go down and subscribe because we're all about the C's here on Celtics Today. Let's take a look at the preseason schedule first because a couple of y'all were asking about that earlier. So here is the preseason schedule. They will start the preseason October 2nd at home against Charlotte, followed by a matchup with Toronto on October 5th. Those are the only two teams that are going to play in the preseason, which is normal. October 7th at Charlotte, October 14th at Toronto, and then the regular season will begin. Do you think the Celtics are going to win over or under 55 and a half games this season? That is the Vegas total. Go down and predict it. Type O for over or type U for under. I'm all about the over there. I think the Celtics are going to win maybe close to 60 games this season. Let's take a look at the Celtics schedule. Producer Jeff Cooperstein is laughing at that, but the Celtics are going to win 60 games. You just wait. Here is the Celtics schedule. They will begin the season October 18th against the Philadelphia 76ers. That is on NBA opening night. That's going to be the first game of the NBA season, 7 o'clock Eastern time on TNT. That game is going to be a lot of fun. Then they will head to Miami. So an interesting 2 games to begin the season against 2 rival teams, probably 2 of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. That matchup October 22nd at Orlando going to be very interesting as well. That'll be a matchup with number 1 overall pick Paolo Banchero. Other notable matchups here. We're not going to literally say all 82 games, but I'm really looking forward to that matchup in the Garden on November 5th as well. That should be a fun matchup, but this might be the matchup I'm most excited about amongst the first 10 games. Celtics or Sixers, who you got? NBA opening night. Going to be millions of people watching the Celtics on primetime. TD Garden is going to be rocking in October. Let me tell you, I'm typing BOS for Boston, but I want to know what you're typing. Type BOS if you have the Celtics, or type PHI if you're a Chase Senior Philadelphia 76ers fan coming across our channel. Go down. Let me know who you got in the first Celtics game of the season. Moving on to the next 10 games, that Detroit matchup going to be interesting. Detroit's going to be a little bit better this year. They're not going to be, they're going to be terrible, but not as terrible. There's going to be a little bit improved as we take a look. It's an interesting slate here. I mean, some easy wins that I'm looking at here. They should win both of those Detroit games. They should smack Oklahoma City because Chet Holmgren's a fraud. They should beat Sacramento. Producer Cooperstein's got to chill. They should beat Washington. They should beat Dallas. So this slate should be 8-2, 9-1. It really should be. Let's tell you about this great deal we're giving you at Mint Mobile because Mint Mobile is bringing you unlimited premium wireless. Plans starting as low as $15 per month. MintMobile.com/chatsports. You got to go to that link to get the deal. You can get the deal for $15 per month, and it's going to switch seamlessly between 5G and 4G LTE. I can't tell you a number of times when I was on Verizon where I did not have the strongest possible connection. That's why I made the switch to Mint Mobile. You can as well. MintMobile.com/chatsports. Let's get into the next 10 games here. Games 21 through 30. Also, some notable matchups here. They got a back-to-back against the Miami Heat. Both of those games in TD Garden. Now, the matchup that I'm looking at that stands out the most amongst these 10 games, and you might notice it as well, December 4th at Brooklyn. And if Kevin Durant gets traded to Boston, which is a big if, that would be Kevin Durant's return to Brooklyn. It would no doubt be one of the biggest NBA games of this upcoming season. We do know that one of the biggest games will be December 10th at Golden State. That is the first NBA Finals matchup that we're looking at here. And then they have a little California road trip at Golden State, at the Clippers, at the Lakers, December 12th, December 13th, followed by a home matchup December 12th against Orlando. So what road game out of these three are you most excited to watch? Is it Brooklyn? That's probably it for me, even if KD doesn't get traded. Golden State, or is it the Lakers? Type BKN for the Nets, type GSW for the Warriors, or type LAL for the Lakers. Moving on to the month of January. We're now getting into this. This is another slate that the Celtics should do pretty well in. They should beat Orlando. They should beat Indiana. They should beat Minnesota. They will beat Milwaukee. Christmas Day in the Garden is going to be awesome. They should beat Houston. Houston's not going to be very good. And then you have OKC again, Dallas, San Antonio. This should be another pretty successful slate for the Boston Celtics as we roll into the month of January. Did want to highlight this before we get into the rest of the schedule because John Karlaftis reported this just a couple minutes ago, actually. According to the Celtics, they will unveil a special Bill Russell tribute 2022-2023 City Edition uniform on opening night, a project that the league and team have been collaborating on with Russell himself in recent years. Wow. Which will wear a total of 12 times this season. That is awesome. That is awesome. Clap it up. I'm excited to see that drop. When that drops, we will bring that to you here on Celtics Today. So go down and subscribe. That's going to be awesome. Let's get into some more games here. They have a matchup with the Chicago Bulls, January 9th. At Brooklyn again. So they go to Brooklyn 2 times before Brooklyn comes to Boston. Then they have a back-to-back, Charlotte and Charlotte, I should say, 114, 116. A lot of 3, 4, 5 game road trips this year. That's what I'm noticing, as well as homestands. And then they will welcome the Golden State Warriors to TD Garden on January 19th. NBA Finals rematch. Buckle up. Mark your calendars. January 19th, the Golden State Warriors, as Jeff Cooperstein and I were talking about before the show. We're praying on their downfall. Shout out T. Grizzly, Getaway Car, Jack Portfolio. You know what I'm talking about. Draymond Green is going to go on his podcast, be talking about the loss. I'm excited about that game. Mark your calendars. The Warriors are going to get beat January 19th, TD Garden, TNT. Let's freaking go. Gosh, I do not like the Golden State Warriors. If you do, unsubscribe. Just kidding. Let's move on to the rest of the games here. We have a matchup with the Lakers on January 28th. Then Brooklyn comes to TD Garden January 1st. That might be interesting if Kevin Durant does or maybe doesn't get traded. January 8th, another matchup I'm kind of marking my calendar with against the Philadelphia 76ers at home, out Milwaukee on TNT, February 14th, excuse me. One of the notable games this season that's going to be nationally televised for the Boston Celtics. And then we move on to this next batch of games. They go to Philadelphia, to New York, take on Cleveland, Brooklyn, New York at home. So a 3-game homestand there, followed by another road trip at Atlanta, at Houston, at Minnesota, March 11th through March 13th. As we are now into the spring, they go to Portland, March 17th. That's going to be a 6-game road trip for the Boston Celtics. A lot of road games here in this stretch. Then they will close that stretch with a road game at Sacramento, and then welcome Indiana and San Antonio to TD Garden. 2 more road games, then they'll host Utah the last day of March. Then they will conclude this season with this batch of games at Philadelphia on April 4th, followed by back-to-back games in TD Garden against the Raptors, and then they will close the season at home against Atlanta. So 3 straight home games to wrap up the regular season for the Boston Celtics. What game are you looking forward to the most? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. For me, it's got to be that Warriors game in Boston.